Now see what exactly a pod is. See, let's say this is, I'm just creating a structure of a pod. Okay. Pod, in a pod, you can like have multiple containers. Okay. Let's say I'm creating one container over here, one, and I'm creating one more container over here, which is C2. Clear? Now, by default, Kubernetes always manages the pod, and by default, the pod is always having an NIC card attached to it. Clear? Means in the Kubernetes, your containers does not have any IP addresses. Okay. What do have a IP address? A pod. Clear? So containers do not have any IP addresses like Docker. Clear? IP addresses is given to the pod. Clear? So let's say this pod is having IP addresses 244.2.1, something like that. Clear? Now, so a pod can contain one and more than one container, and all the container shares the network and storage namespace, okay, inside the pod. Clear? So this NIC card will be shared by both of these, for this container also and for this container also. Now let's say this container is actually running on port number 80 and this container is running on port number 81. Okay, let's say here you are running Apache and here you are running, let's say, PHP. So whenever any request which is coming on this NIC card, okay, on port number 80, okay, that will be forwarded to this container, and if the request is coming on port number 81, that will be forwarded to this container. Okay, now why do we need pod? Why can't we do everything with the container itself? Why do we actually need a pod to like create a container inside it? Why? So see, by default, if you want to communicate two containers over the local host, that there are only two possible solutions for that. One is you can create the containers by using the host network. So all the containers will be using the host NIC card, so they will all be able to communicate over the local host. Okay. And the another option is you need to create or run two processes inside the same container. But right now, to give you a proper solution, what Kubernetes has done? Kubernetes has given you a concept of pod, that whatever containers will be inside the pod, they will all share the same NIC card. Okay. So they will be able to communicate over the localhost. So your Apache can communicate to PHP over localhost. Now, let's say this is your worker node where your pod is running. Yeah. On this worker node, you have a data folder. You can mount that data folder inside the pod as a volume. Clear? Now, once this volume has been mounted from the outside folder on the worker node to the pod, clear, that can be further mounted to these containers at different location. Clear? So let's say this volume name is my volume, and I'm mounting this volume on this container at /abc and on this container at /def. Clear? So whatever data is present over this particular data folder, that will be obviously present in the container on /abc. Clear? So the pod can contain one and more than one container, and all the containers shared the network, means this NIC card, and the storage namespace, means this is a storage resource. So this pod is actually behaving as a host machine. Clear? So this is a complete architecture of a pod. Guys, do you have any questions on this?
Right, I think this is the same we have discussed in Docker part. So this is similar case scenario, right?
Similar case scenario, but here Kubernetes manages the pod. which actually behaves as a host machine.
Understand.
Clear?
Correct.
Now, so the containers, the applications are isolated inside the pod because they are running in different containers. But both the containers will share the same NIC card, so they can able to communicate over localhost, and they can use the same volume, means they can use the same storage. Clear? Now, so now let's create a pod. Now see, in Kubernetes, let's say you have a cluster, okay, which is a group of worker nodes, and you want to manage your different projects. So what you actually do, you create namespaces. Clear? This is my, let's say, a namespace 1. This is my namespace 2. This is my namespace 3. The name of this namespace, let's say idea project. The namespace name is Vodafone, and the namespace name is Airtel. Now in this namespace, I can run my 5 pods. I can run my replication controller. Okay. I can run my deployment. I can run my daemon set. Okay. I can run my replica set. I can run my secret. Clear? So in all the namespaces, you can run these type of different resources. Now this namespace is what? This namespace is actually isolating the resources. That this 5 pods actually belongs to the Airtel project. These 5 pods actually belongs to the Vodafone project, and these 5 pods actually belongs to the Idea project. It can be possible that these 15 pods are working on a single worker node, but we have isolated them. So it is easy to manage the projects, clear, by using the concept of namespaces. Clear? So this is the Kubernetes namespace. Now, over here also, now, have I told you the basic commands of Kubernetes?
No.
Okay. So the first command which I will tell you, which is kubectl get nodes. It will give you all the details about the nodes. Clear? After that, the second command is -o wide. You can have all the details in a wide format. Means this master node is having the IP is this, OS image is this, kernel version is this, and the Docker version is 18. And this is ready. This is also ready, but my node 1 is ready, but scheduling disabled. I have disabled the scheduling. Means you cannot create any pod on this node, okay, with the help of scheduler or controller. Okay. So 2 worker nodes I have, 1 master node I have. Clear? Now, if you want to see all the labels on them, show labels. It will give you all the labels, like this particular worker node is having first, this is the label. This is the label. This is the label. Okay. And this is the label. These 4-5 labels are actually applied on these worker nodes. So kubectl get. You can write any of the API resource over here. Clear? Like kubectl get node, kubectl get pods, kubectl get replication controller. Or you can use the short form for them. Instead of writing kubectl get nodes, you can write kubectl get no. Okay. kubectl get rs replica set. Clear? Now, how many API resources are available? That can be seen by kubectl API resources. Okay. This will list all the API resources inside your Kubernetes cluster. Clear? Now, on all the commands, what you can write?
Can you run API resources? Can you run this command, first command?
Okay. kubectl API resources less. All the resources are present. Like this is my deployment. This is my replica set. Okay. What are the short names? Okay. They are present in which API group? Namespace is true and false. Means if you want to create a token review resource, okay, you can directly create it because this is not namespace oriented. Some resources are namespace oriented, means they will only be created inside a namespace. If you are not giving any namespace, they will be created in the default namespace, okay, which is set in the master configuration file. These are the kind: binding, config map, endpoint, event. Okay, all the resources are present over here. Now, if I want to get the information about nodes, I can use.
Sorry, Kushal, can you repeat this one, default one namespace?
Podman namespace?
No, but you're describing that the API which are not defining as a created as a default namespace. Can you repeat this? I'm not able to understand that.
I'm saying that this nodes is not a part of any namespace. Clear?
Okay.
Now, means you do not need any namespace to create nodes. Clear? But you need a namespace to create pods. Okay. So if you want to create any pod, you need to create a namespace first. After that, you will create that pod into that namespace. Okay. Which will be isolated from another namespace. Clear?
Right. So namespace, okay, got it. So namespace equivalent to project. So if a new project, new as a user is coming on my cluster, so I will give them one project as called as a namespace, right?
Yes.
Okay.
One project is equal to namespace. Clear? Now, after that, so you can use kubectl get pods hyphen. Right now, no pod is right now present here because by default it is searching in the default namespace. Now, how many namespaces are there? Kubectl get ns. One is default, one is kube node one is kube public, one is kube system. Okay, by default, all the scheduler, controller, etcd, these all the pods actually run in this namespace. So if I want the pods from this namespace, I can use -n and I can give the namespace name kube-system. See, kubectl get pods. In which namespace you want to see pods? In this namespace. These all the pods are running: controller, API server, scheduler, proxy, VNet, everything. If you want to see detailed information, you can use -o wide. So -o wide option will give you the detailed information. This etcd is having which IP? This IP. This API server is running on master. This controller is running on master. This 3 kube proxy pods are running on node 2, master, and node 1. 3 VNet pods are running on node 2, master, node 1, which I have described earlier. Scheduler is running on master. Clear? And 2 core DNS pods are there, which are running on master. Okay. Now, if you want to see all the labels on them, you can use -show -labels. Okay, so this particular show labels will list out all the labels. Now, if you want to see all the resources, kubectl get all -n kube-system. That is this giving you all the resources: service, daemon set, deployment, replica set. These all the pods are actually running inside this namespace. Okay. Now, if you want to see all the resources in all the namespace, then you can use -all namespaces. So -all namespaces will list you all the resources on your cluster on all the namespaces. Clear? So these are the commands. Clear? You can use -o wide, you can use -show labels. If you want to edit something, you can use kubectl edit. Okay. If you want to describe something, you can use kubectl describe. What you want to describe? Pod. And what is the pod name? This is the pod name you need to give. And in which namespace it is working? Namespace name. Clear? Like this. So let's say I want to describe this pod. kubectl get pods -n kube-system. See, in this VNet pod, how many containers are there? 2. Okay. In this particular pod, how many containers are there? 1. Okay. Now, I want to describe this container. Sorry, this pod. kubectl describe. What you want to describe? Pod. What is the name? v-net. And in which namespace? Kube-. Right now, if you will not define any namespace, it will look for the default namespace. But I want to have the details from the kube system namespace. Unless, see, this is the pod name. These are the init containers. Okay. After that, there is one container which is called Weave. Clear? So this is in the container section, this is the first container inside the pod. This is the second container inside the pod. Clear? Now, if I want the logs, then I cannot like have the logs from pod, because in the pod there is nothing. Application is running inside the container which is inside the pod. So I need to write the command like this: kubectl. If I'm running this command logs, see, just a second. Pod not found. Okay, just a second. I do not need to write this pod. See, what it is saying me, a container name must be specified for the pod. Choose one of, because there are two containers which are running inside this pod. One is Weave, one is Weave-npc. Now, -c Weave. So see, this is giving me the logs for that container which is running inside that pod. Clear? Because the logs are actually generated inside the container, not inside the pod. Pod is just a box. Okay. And that box is actually having different multiple number of containers. Got it?
Got it.
After that, let's say I want to describe any node, kubectl, describe what you want to describe node, what node you want to describe, node1.kushal.com. Now you do not need to define any namespace. Why? Because this node is not namespace oriented. You can use less. See, this is my node 1. These are the labels which are applied, and see, location is what? Delhi. I think someone is using my cluster. In the class, generally I open my username and passwords. I think someone is using, because I have not applied this label. Don't know. I will change password today. Now, after that, see, unschedulable is true, means by default the scheduler will never schedule any pod on this. Why? Because unschedulable is true. Clear? So network unavailable, false. So means network is available. Memory pressure, false, means memory is no pressure out of memory.
We have described this particular node, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Disk pressure, PID pressure, and ready. Kubelet is ready, means the service of kubelet is active. That's why it is saying you true. Clear? So kubelet has no disk pressure, kubelet has sufficient PID, kubelet has sufficient memory, Weave is actually up. Clear? What is the internal IP? This is the internal IP. How many CPUs are there? How many allocatable CPUs are there? Every information it will give you about a node. Clear? What is the Docker version? What is the kubelet version? What is the kube proxy version? What is the pod CIDR? See, this is the pod CIDR, Manish. All the pods inside your whole cluster will get the IP from this range. Got it?
So, okay. So, pod CDR. So this is specific to that particular pod specific, right?
Yeah, this is specific to the pods only. There is a service CIDR also. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
so if example, just hold on. Can you run this command again? Just hold on. Come outside. kubectl and go to the particular master node. Master node में आपने वो particular range define करी हुई है.
Yeah, master node पे आपने वो range define.
Sorry, worker node. Sorry, this is the worker node, right?
This is a worker node.
Okay.
Clear? Now, after that,
can you go to the node 2? Node 2. So where's that IP range? Okay, so that is different from the first one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
1. Okay.
So normally in one pod belongs to my one, if my worker node is one bare metal node, right? Let's suppose it has specification of around 80 BCU and 384 GB RAM, correct? Normal Cascade Lake server, right? So in that scenario, I can spawn 50 to 60 containers, right? Normally, whatever the normally I can say that two vCPU required for each container minimum at least, right?
Yes, yes.
40 container I can spawn, right?
Yes.
So in that scenario, why we setting the a lot of high /24 subnet? Then in that case, I think /26 is sufficient.
Yeah, /26 is sufficient. You can change that.
Okay.
Clear? While installing Kubernetes, you can change that.
So in large setup, so let's suppose when I'm building a cluster of around in one go as around 80 server. So I need to pick the 80 subnets, right? Need to define 80 subnet in all the each compute, each bare metal node, right? Or worker node, we can say.
Yes.
I have to plan like that, right? For the IP planning perspective first.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Now see, right now there is no pod which is running on the worker nodes. Okay, so let me run a pod. After that, I will tell you what is the IP. Clear? Now, how to create a pod? That is a major thing. Okay, and before that, let me give you some more commands. Let's say you want to apply some labels on a node. Okay, so you can use kubectl label. Okay, node1.kushal.com. What label you want to apply? Disk equal to SSD. And on node 2, I want to apply disk equal to SATA. Now, kubectl get nodes hyphen capital L and disk, enter. Now see what it is giving you. It is giving you the details that this particular node is having SSD label, this particular node is having SATA hard drive. If I want to define complete key value pair, then disk equal to SSD. I want to list all the nodes which are having this label. See, it is only giving this node. So you will know instantly that yeah, this node, my node 1 is having the SSD hard drive. Clear? So this is how you can apply the labels. Got it?
Correct. So this is similar to my availability zone in the OpenStack, or we can say that host aggregate is the same thing, right? We can define that like that. Got it.
Now kubectl label node2.kushal.com disk equal to. Now let's say you want to change the value. I want to change the value from SSD to M2. Now it will not give you the permission. You need to use ---- override. Obvious. One key can't have multiple values on a same node. Clear? Now, if you want to remove it, you can use disk minus. Label has been removed. Okay. Node 1, disk minus. Now, if you will run this command, see, no node is having any value of this disk value, disk key. Clear? So with the help of this command, I can remove any label from any node or any resource. You can apply a label on pod, you can apply a label on replication controller, deployment.
Just a name, right? Not a disk, basically. Correct?
Yeah, it is just a label, okay, which will like give you the privileges to filter out.
Correct. So, okay, got it.
Okay, now it's something like you have 50 instances on Amazon and you want to filter out which instances are actually running web server. How will you do it? Obviously, you will apply tag and you will filter. So it is something like that. Now, after that, let's say I want to do something on my worker node, but for that, I want to put that worker node into maintenance window. Clear? I don't want my scheduler to schedule any pod on them in between while I'm doing something maintenance work. So I will cordon that node. Cordon node2.kushal.com. At the moment you will cordon the node, the scheduling will be disabled. Now, anytime if you will create any of the resource or if you will give any information to API server to create something for you, scheduler will never place the pods on node 2 and node 1 because the scheduling is what? Disabled.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can uncordon them anytime you want. Uncordon. Now see, all are ready. Clear? Now you can create pods. Now, how to create a pod? There are two solutions. One is with the help of command. kubectl create -- help, and in the help it will give you all the commands. What you want to create: service account, secret, role binding, quota, job, namespace. Okay, I want to create a namespace. So I will use this command. kubectl create namespace idea. kubectl get ns. See, you have an idea namespace. In that idea namespace, I want to create a pod. Clear? Now, how can I create pod? For that, you need to write YAML file. And how to write that YAML file? I'm creating a different folder for my idea project, and I'm creating a file as pod.yaml inside it. Clear? Now, what I need to write here. First, you always need to mention that resource is available in which API group. Clear? And if you are running this command kubectl API resources less, so see, this command will tell you that this binding comes under no API group. Means if there is no API group written, means the V1 is the API group, which is default. The daemon set is coming in apps API group, means you need to write apps/v1. Okay. Now, vim pod.yaml API version :v1. Kind. What is the kind? Kind is pod. Now P must be capital. Okay. If you are not aware about the kind, you can see it in this command. For the pod, the kind is what? Capital POD. So you can copy from here. After that, you need to write metadata. In the metadata, what is the name of the pod? My name of the pod is idea_web server. Okay. So in this particular pod, this pod is actually related to the idea project. And in this pod, I am actually running a web server. Okay. This is how you can give a very beautiful name to a pod. Okay. And if you want to apply any label on it, you can apply it. I don't want to apply any label right now. After that, you need to write a specification. Now in the specification, obviously a pod can have multiple containers. So how many containers this pod is having? So you will write containers. How many containers is? First container is I want to create a container for web server, and for that container I want to use an image as HTTPD, and second container I want to create as Redis or Nginx, and the image name is Nginx. Now I can give it a name: second container, first container. Okay. You actually do not need to remember. You can go to Google, you can copy the file, you can paste it, you can change it. All the people do this. Clear? Now, so it is not necessary to remember these files. Okay. I do because I teach a lot. Now, and one more thing, in which namespace you want to create this pod? So you can give a namespace. I want to create this pod into idea namespace. Now, kubectl apply -f pod.yaml. Okay, there is some mistake. Data_web server lowercase alphabetics. Okay, I cannot use the underscore in the pod name. I can use hyphen, I think. Created. So kubectl get pods hyphen and what? Idea project.
Namespace is the idea, right?
It is getting created. Now, till that you can see the events of that project. Events are the logs of the project. Now see, scheduler has scheduled this pod to where? Node 2. And after that, the instruction was given to kubelet. Kubelet was responsible to pull the image. Kubelet was responsible to create container. kubelet was responsible to do everything on the worker node.
So
Clear?
basically, this is the event, whatever the event for that creating of that namespace, right? On the particular namespace.
Yes, logs of the namespace is
Log
event.
is basically once the container is created, what is the going inside the container? That is purpose of log, right?
Yeah. Yes, because application will produce the log, no?
Right. So we cannot say that we are seeing the logs. We are just basically we are seeing the events only.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, after that kubectl get pods -n idea -o white. See. Okay, why it is not taking the IP from the range? Just a second. Why it is not taking the IP from the
And
CIDR?
the status is error, but first is not created. Crash loop back.
One
Okay.
pod is not created. One is created, one is ready.
Image is Nginx. It is okay. kubectl delete pod idea -web server -n idea. Let me change the image name. Redis.
Go to event. Event.
Now it is running. Okay, now let me tell you the problem. What is the problem in that image? See, what we were using here,
Nginx.
Nginx and HTTP runs on the
Both are same web servers. So
80 port
both
number.
are using the same port.
Now they can run on 80 port number, but obviously they cannot be bounded to the same 80 port number on the NIC card, right?
Right.
So for that, I need to define the port numbers then. I cannot run two same like containers on the 80 port on this. Clear?
So in particular YAML file, on the second port.
Second container I can like launch on a different port number.
Yes, you have to mention in that particular.
But for that I
file
need to
the
change the
port
image.
number,
Na?
right? Okay,
For
in
that
that
I
particular.
need to change the image, na?
Okay, yes. On image, first I need to go to the registry and find that particular Nginx image and update that image with the new port and then launch that, right?
Yeah, then I can launch that. Clear?
Okay. So by default, from which registry they are taking the images in their particular setup, because there is.
Docker.io.
Okay, by default, they from the Kubernetes as well. They are going to the Docker.io.
Docker.io. Yeah. Docker.io.
There is no local registry here, is it?
No, there is no by default Docker registry is provided to you. They are using Docker.io. Clear?
In production, basically in production, we are not because in setup is not connected to the internet. So in that scenario, we downloaded all the registries in the local.
No, you will configure your own registry and you will get the details over here.
Okay.
Like your registry is working on
My private IP something, right? Okay. So domain name. So I have to. Okay.
like this. Clear?
Okay.
Like if I want to use my created image, okay, let's say on my hub.docker.com, there is an image. Okay, this is my image. I want to use this image. Clear? So this is my name. Copy, and the name is v1 v9 see all v9 v1. We can use v9. Let me cordon node 2. Okay.
First, we have to investigate that why the IP is not taking, why the different subnet is taking. We need to check that part in that particular node.
Copy, paste.
Apply F.
Now see, this is running on node 1 because node 2 is what?
No.
Cordon?
Correct.
Now let me cordon both the nodes. Let me cordon node 2 and node 1. I'm disabling scheduling on both the nodes. Clear?
Correct.
Now let me apply it. It will not be running kubectl get ev hyphen an idea. It will give you error. See, 0 to 3 nodes are available. One node had 10. Clear? So failed scheduling. Got it?
Got it. Can you check that why the IP subnet is not taking that particular subnet?
Yeah, let me check that. Kubectl. Let me delete the pod first. Yeah, kubectl apply -f pod.yaml and kubectl get pods -an idea -y. This is taking what IP?
I think we have not uncordon the particular node.
No, we haven't gotten. So it is taking 10.44. Okay.
Okay.
Now. kubectl get pods.
Node.
So just a second. Okay. -o. I'm checking something else.
Okay.
Now this weave pod is actually running over here in the range 10.32.0.1/12. Okay, and let me go on my master node -p 2258 root@node1.kushal.com. Yes, okay, I need to give the password. PA, this is having the 36, so 32 36. Okay, and 44. Okay, so I think the pod is using or taking the IP from this weave. Clear?
Weave is a basically there is a container, right, running on the v1c or this one, right? Well, this is the same, right?
Yeah. And the weave interface is also created on the worker node. Clear? And that interface is actually having the range as 10.44.0.0/12. So that's why whatever containers are getting created on node 2, they are getting the IP from 10.44. Clear?
Can you go to the particular node? That
Yeah.
info, okay, so describe the kubectl, describe node 2.
Not getting why this is actually showing a different range over here. They have given the pod CIDR as 10.244.1.0.
Is there any IP details mentioned in here? That particular 10.44 and any in this full file?
Oh no, there is no information over here about like.
Okay. Okay, no problem. You can check offline. Okay, then we will discuss tomorrow that part. Understand?
No, that is okay, but I'm not getting why it is showing you and .03 in total and 2 and 3 10.244. Okay. Is there any interface which is running on 10.244? 146?
Nothing. I think that there is no route I seen related to 10.244.
Yeah, then why it is like showing me that information over there? Just a second. Installation, I think I have done some mistake. Set up the port. Okay, right now here what range I have given, cube ADA minute pod network CIDR I have given as 10.244. That is okay, but while configuring this kubectl apply pod network, okay, it is using the flannel, okay, and this is the command. Just a second, copy, we can check. I think this is a good one. As this is a good SDN actually. In the production, lot of companies are using this Cilium. Okay, your
Okay.
DigitalOcean is also using Cilium to maintain all the Kubernetes clusters. I need to see this YAML file actually.
Okay.
In this YAML, we will actually get the information. Now see, this is the YAML file, pod security policy, privilege false, okay, all our things are okay. I think a range has been given over here. Yeah, the network is 10.244. Got it?
That
Now,
is the same we have.
no, what I have used, I have actually set up the Weave, okay? I have set up the Weave, clear? So I can do one thing, integrating Kubernetes by Weave. And see, this is the Weave file. I have created the SDN network by this file actually. Now how this will actually apply -f, this is the command, complete command. Let me copy this over here. Okay, I can do one thing. kubectl get pods -n cube system kubectl get pod. What is the pod I want to get? Weave pod. I want to save its YAML into a file. This is the YAML file. Here, I think the range will be 10.44. Dot 44. So I think when I have set up actually this Weave network, this Weave interface is having the different IP address. Okay, Manish. That's why that this problem is actually coming. Okay.
Sorry, I'm speaking on mute. I'm saying that we can check it tomorrow. That part, no problem. We can continue the session.
Okay.
Yes, you can check it. You can check it tomorrow and find the root cause that is that the particular file is there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Please continue.
Now see, as we have run the pod. Okay. Now inside the pod, if you want to apply some labels, you can apply the label over here. Labels. What label you want to apply? App :env. Sorry, yeah, fair. env :dev, like this. kubectl apply -f pod.yaml configured kubectl get pods -n idea -l env equal to dev. You can filter out. You can use capital L env. See, this is running in the developer environment. Clear? So this is how you can apply any of the label on the API resource, on secret, on deployment, on application controller, on pod, everything. Clear? Now, after that, if you want to define a container port, okay.
Basically, we are applying the label. Label. Okay, not sorry names. Label is on the pod level. Okay. Can we put the label on the node level?
We have defined the label on the node also, no? Just before 15-20 minutes.
Yes. That is fine. Right. That is disk is equal to SSD SATA, right? That's the same thing.
Yes. You can apply the label on the pod by this command also. kubectl label pod. On what pod you want to apply label? On this pod. What label you want to apply? Disk equal to SSD -n idea. And now see, kubectl get pod -n idea -show -labels. See? So either you configure it in the file or either you configured it over the command line. Clear?
Right. That is fine.
You can edit the information of the node also, node1.kushal.com. And you can write the labels over here. Okay.
Got it.
If you want to remove any label like this, you can remove. Now, so this is how you can create namespaces. Clear? One more thing, yeah. If you want to define the port number in the pod YAML, okay. you can define the port number over here. Ports, container port, and I need to check that syntax over the Google. Pod.yaml Kubernetes. Now, ports, what is the name of the container, and container port is 80, protocol is TCP. This thing you need to copy. Now there can be multiple containers, clear? kubectl apply -f. Now, right now in the running container, you cannot apply this file. So first you need to delete the pod. After that, you need to create it. Because in the running pod, you cannot like map the port numbers, okay? That is a basic understanding from Docker. You cannot apply or you cannot change the port mapping in a running container. kubectl get pods -n idea -o white, and you can describe it. In the description, it will give you the detail. So this particular first container is actually running on the 80 port number. Clear?
Right.
Now, there is no environment variable is set. It is ready. Okay. This is the image which we have used. Clear? Everything you can see here. Now, see, scheduled by the scheduler, and scheduler actually assigned the pod to the node 2. After that, kubelet has downloaded the image, but it was already present on the machine. So kubelet created the container and started the container inside the pod. So everything is done on the worker node by the kubelet. Okay. And scheduler actually instructs the controller about where you can like schedule the pod or where you can like create the pod. Okay. So the scheduler will tell controller, okay, that you need to deploy the pod on node1.kushal.com. After that, controller will give this instruction to the kubelet, okay, of node 1. Okay, and after that, kubelet will download the image and will create the pod and will create the container and will start the container inside that pod. Clear? So this is how everything works. Now, so that's all for today.
Kushal, एक question था. So how many container are created in pods? It's any limit?
No, there is no general limit actually. Okay, you can create multiple number of pods. Okay, but generally see on a Kubernetes node.
Container in pod. I mean container in pod. I have one pod. So how many container created in pod? Single pod.
No, see, the pod can have multiple containers. Okay.
Okay. Is there any limit?
No, I don't think so. There is a limit. You can create multiple number of pod containers inside a pod. Clear?
And same pod can be created on both node worker, multiple worker node, or it's created on single worker. Same.
No, you can create multiple pods on different worker nodes.
Okay. And same pod, same name pod, multiple worker node.
No. Name would be different.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, and generally you like cannot create the same name of the pod inside the namespace actually. Okay, let's say you have a namespace over here. And right now one pod is running over here, kubectl get pod hyphen and idea. If I'm again creating or applying the command, let's say I'm creating a pod, fpod.yaml. It is, okay, I think I need to go in the idea project. Now I can run this command. See, it already exists. Clear? But you can
And-
create the same name of the pod in another namespace,
Okay.
which
And-
can be on the same node. Clear?
Clear. And Kushal,
Namespace is isolating the resources.
okay. कुशल और एक क्वेश्चन था सॉरी ये Kubernetes decided which node is available, so Kubernetes can decide and created the pod in available node, worker node, correct? Or
Yeah. Yes, Kubernetes is having a resource which is called scheduler. It will always decide that where to create the pod. Okay.
okay, so if we have multiple same clusters, like we need the HA, WebSphere HA, HTTPD HA, or two web server. So we can create the WebSphere on two worker no separately.
Yeah, you can create that. Okay.
Okay.
For that, in the scheduler, you have the concept of affinity. Okay. And anti-affinity. Clear?
Okay.
Affinity will always place your pods near to each other. But anti-affinity will make sure that the pods are not running on the same worker node. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Clear?
Clear.
So this is one of the algorithm of scheduler. Clear? You can use anti-affinity algorithm. Okay. So scheduler will always create the pods on different worker nodes. Okay.
Yes. क्योंकि वही सेम हम vCenter में भी करते हैं, अगर कोई क्लस्टर में नोड रहता है तो दोनों भी नोड एक ही नोड पे रनिंग ना हो, अगर बेयर मेटल अगर होल्ड डाउन हो गया तो मेरा क्लस्टर भी डाउन हो सकता है, ओएस बेस.
Yeah. So we can maintain that. Okay. Now, generally in the production environment, we do not create pods like this. Okay. Because right now, if this pod will go down, what will you do? So we create the pods with the help of deployment. But before deployment, we will discuss the replication controller also tomorrow.
Yes.
If you will delete the namespace, all the resources inside that namespace will be deleted. Clear? Got it, guys? That's it
Yes.
for today.
Got it. So what is the tomorrow plan? Kushal?
Tomorrow we will discuss about replication controller and the replica set.
Right. Okay.
And after that, we will discuss about the deployment and secret. And after that, we will start OpenShift. Clear?
Got
Yeah.
it. So this week we will complete the Kubernetes, right?
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vishal. Thank you.